Hey Eden, hope you're doing well. I know we didn't get to connect for a one-on-one portfolio review, but I figured I'd just go ahead, take a look, and send you this anyway. So I have your portfolio up here. This is actually the second time I'm recording this because the first one, the connection was off. So let's hope that this is better. First off, starting off on your homepage, I really like this intro animation video that you have. A few things. One, I don't think you need this welcome to text. Second, I noticed that you're using Wix. I know that there are some funky things that happen when you try to go from desktop to mobile. So something to think about on that. And the other thing is, I noticed you have a lot of video files just on your website in general, and that is going to affect load time. So something to think about. If you can get these videos down to like 720 by 1080 and have them still look good, that's an option. Also just making sure that, yeah, they're just not big in resolution, and that'll help reduce load time on your portfolio website. I like this little introduction. I didn't really read through it. Actually, no, I did. I'm sorry. Okay, so I had some notes on this first paragraph here. One, my name is Eden, and I specialize in 4K video art services using stock images. That's great, but at the end of the day, my opinion, clients don't care about specs like this, right? Like 4K using stock images, doesn't matter. What they want, what they do care about is the end result, right? So I would think about trying to figure out how to write a description for these videos that really describe your style and like what your intention is. So, whether that is you create nostalgic videos or whimsical or, outer worldly, something along those lines, because again, these are finer details, things like 4K and stock images that really don't matter to the client. They just want to know that they are going to be able to create a feeling and a connection with their customers through your services, through your animations and your videos. Sure you're motivated and passionate, blah, blah, blah. I had a note about this section here. So one, I would think about moving Instagram and TikTok down potentially and having this section be just clients. And so that leads me to this part where you have clients next to skills. And I'm not a big fan of having it on this blue background because you're not really using, like a uniformed way of presenting the client logos. So it's great. You have Amazon, Morel, Adobe Photoshop, Artful Living, awesome. But then you have some black logos, you have some white logos. I would consider just either doing it yourself and making these all like, one color logos, and then again, having them going across here in this bigger section rather than splitting the page here for your logos. And then the next part is your skills. So I'm not a big fan of having a skills section. I think it's kind of arbitrary. Again, this is not something the client really cares about. What they care about are these end results of like the videos and animations you create. And so things like After Effects, Premiere Pro, this is just jargon that people who aren't in this area know about. And then instead of skills, I'd think about putting together a services section. So something that if a customer or a visitor comes to your website, they understand how they can work with you, right? So whether that is like a video package or, campaign, working on a campaign basis, things like that, that I think is going to be more valuable than having these sort of like, programs and, things like, it's great that you have social media marketing, content creation, but that doesn't really, like, for me, that doesn't really help, right? Like, I just want to know how I can work with you and what are you going to do with me? And some of this starts to help, but if anything, to me, it gives me more of a scattered idea that like, these are just all the things that you might think about. It's almost like providing too much information, right? Like, yes, you do social media. Like, yes, your videos can fit into social media marketing. Yes, your videos can fit into content creation for brands. But then you have like creative direction, and then you have like project management and painting. It's a mixed bag. And I'd rather have you just put together a section about services and how people can work with you rather than trying to mix in like what you're good at versus, what you can also, how you can also work with clients. I think it would just be a little bit cleaner. Awesome little cool end up section. And then I also had some notes on your actual portfolio section. So Again, there's a lot of videos on here and that's great, but I can't actually click into them. So a couple of thoughts I had were, if there is an opportunity to have like 1 or 2 or 3 case studies on here where I can click into the project and you can give me some context of how you worked with a client on whatever campaign or objective it was, and then give me background on your process and your thinking when you're creating these assets, that would be super helpful. And then from there, I would think about, after you have those 3 kind of case studies, any of this other stuff that is more like one-off, you can have these videos and stuff, potentially then organizing it by like buckets of like, these were for social media, these are for print, this is just art direction or creative direction. I think that would be a little bit better, because again, here I'm kind of looking for, I want to dive deep into some of these. I want to understand more than just the beautiful outcome. I want to look and read about the details about the client, how you worked with them, how many assets were created, because that's going to give me a better idea of how we can work together. And then again, just a note on like when you have all of these videos on here, it's going to affect your load time. So just something to think about. All right. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions, you can email me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.